Sports brings you Super Bowl number 21. There are 105,000 people sold out at the Rose Bowl, the Denver Broncos against the New York Giants. And if you asked for good weather, you really got it. Temperature is 77 degrees, humidity only 30%, the wind 2 to 5 miles an hour. The forecast is for it to be just like it is, sunny. It will get colder as the evening progresses. Good evening, good afternoon. I'm Pat Summerall, and finally they're going to play Super Bowl number 21. With me, as usual, the very astute gentleman who coached the Oakland Raiders to a Super Bowl championship a few years ago, right in this same site, John Madden. And John, let's talk about strategy first of all for the Denver Broncos, who are 9.5-point underdogs. How do they handle it?
Well, you know, they know that if they're going to win, they have to have a big, big day from John Elway. And we talked to John Elway and Dan Reeves, and they both said the same thing, that the way the Giants play defense, they play that loose zone. You can't force anything. You can't throw deep, but you have to be patient. I think that's the key word. Now, asking a guy like John Elway here to be patient isn't like asking a home run hitter to bunt. John Elway, when he goes back, he looks deep all the time. He wants to fire that deep one, but he feels going into today, he has to take that underneath stuff.
You say when you play the Giants, we got to stop Joe Morris. How are the Giants going to attack today?
Well, I think the Giants know that the Broncos want to stop Joe Morris, so I think they're going to come out throwing. They're going to attack first with the pass, with Phil Simms, throwing to Lionel Manuel, who's starting, maybe Mark Bavaro, getting them deep, loosening up that Bronco defense, and then later coming to Joe Morris with the run.
And the game is coming up, and we'll be back with the player introductions in just a few seconds now.
Hi, I'm Doug Parcells.
And I'm Joanne Reeves.
Our brothers are Super Bowl coaches.
So plenty of investment firms would love to manage their money.
But we found a firm that thinks we're important, too.
Yeah, Dean Witter.
They're helping me to plan for my children's education.
And for my retirement.
And we all know you need a game plan.
If you expect to win.
You're somebody at Dean Witter.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Why would one company work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and spend billions of dollars building America's first and only 100% fiber optic long-distance network? Why? So that every fiber optic long-distance call you make will be so clear and quiet that you can actually hear a pin drop. U.S. Sprint, builders of the first and only 100% fiber optic network, clear across America.
We gave you the weather conditions. The temperature is 77 degrees. You get a good idea at the immense size of this crowd, 105,000 plus, I'm sure. The field is in excellent shape. George Toma and his crew have got this place where it couldn't be more perfect. It's a fast track. I don't know who that favors, but it is a fast track. The field in great shape. The referee, by the way, is Jerry Markbright, and they are chosen like the teams and the players are chosen by their performance during the year. Graded from New York by Art McNally and his staff. So they are the best. The teams are the best. And the crowd is the biggest. The Giants, for the most part, and their fans on the near side of the field, the Broncos on the other side. Giants are the home team. They'll be dressed in blue, and the Broncos dressed in white. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now meet the starting defense for the AFC champions, the Denver Broncos. Mississippi, left defensive end number 61, Andre Townsend. From Utah State, the nose tackle, number 71, Greg Cragen. From Utah State, right defensive end number 75, Rulon Jones. William and Mary, linebacker number 50, Jim Ryan. From Minnesota, linebacker number 77, Carl Mecklenburg. From Arizona, linebacker number 98, Ricky Hunley. From Louisville, linebacker number 57, Tom Jackson. From San Jose State, left cornerback number 20, Louis Wright. From Michigan, right cornerback number 31, Mike Harden.
What we waiting for right here.
From USC, strong safety number 49, Dennis Smith. From Tulane, the free safety number 43, Steve Foley. The head coach, Dan Reeves, and the rest of the Bronco players and coaches. Now the NFC champions, the New York Giants. The Giants out early. As is their tradition, the whole team comes out to welcome the starters, which will be the defensive unit. You can see them gathering with their coach Bill Parcells, waiting to welcome. And that looks like the famous bucket in the middle of the crowd. From Oregon, the left defensive end, number 75, George Martin. From Miami, the nose tackle, number 64, Jim Burt.
Hey, man, get the fuck out of there.
From LSU, the right defensive end, number 70, Leonard Marshall. From Michigan State, linebacker number 58, Carl Banks. From Northwest Louisiana, linebacker number 55, Gary Reasons. From South Carolina State, linebacker number 53, Harry Carson. From North Carolina, linebacker number 56, Lawrence Taylor. From Kansas, the left cornerback, number 34, Elvis Patterson. From North Carolina State, right cornerback, number 23, Perry Williams. From Yale, the strong safety, number 48, Kenny Hill. And from UCLA, the free safety, number 27, Herb Welch. Coach Bill Parcells and the rest of the Giant players and coaches. Super Bowl number 21 coming up, and we'll be back with the national anthem and the kickoff and the rest of today's action in a moment.
To know no boundaries, to let yourself run free. To know no boundaries is what the world should be.
Whether you're investing for your future or your children's future, our financial consultants can show you more opportunities than ever before. Because at Merrill Lynch, we believe your world should know no boundaries.
To know no boundaries.
I practically live out of a suitcase. So I always call 800-221-2222 and make the quality choice for great lodging anywhere. Oh, Quality Inns always gives me a big, comfortable room. The service is impeccable at Clarion Hotels. And Comfort Inn saved me lots of dollars. Franks. Wherever you go, just call 800-221-2222 and you're all set. Unless your luggage gets lost. This isn't Pittsburgh, is it?
You're on your way.
Kids and science can really get together in the right kind of place. So Dow has developed and funded the Touch Tech Laboratory here at Impression 5 in Lansing, Michigan.
In this particular experiment, we're going to make a solid out of two liquids.
It's a hands-on museum that puts the wonders of science at a child's fingertips.
Here you go, PJ.
And who knows what that could lead to.
Dow lets you do great things.
CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl 21 is sponsored by McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. Dodge, setting new standards of performance. And by Merrill Lynch. To Merrill Lynch, your world should know no boundaries.
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, here to sing our national anthem, Neil Diamond.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight are the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Coin toss coming up.
What'd you do to your car, Joey? It's really hot.
It's these new Sportline Performance tires from Michelin. They've got a super grip and really handle the curves.
I never knew a fat tire could make such a difference.
It can if it's a Michelin.
Joey, I think someone's got his eye on us.
I think he's got his eye on you.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
The house is paid up. Kids are out of college. Things are fantastic.
So what's the problem?
Things are not so fantastic. A financial genius, I'm not.
Very few of us are. We can help. At New York Life, we have the resources to make the most of your resources. We offer a range of financial opportunities, including mutual funds, annuities, and limited partnerships. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Get the most out of life with New York Life.
For a limited time, McDonald's presents double features.
It's back.
But it's not alone.
The return of McDonald's Double Cheeseburger. Sizzling, unforgettable, tastes real good. And introducing double fries, a sensation, a masterpiece, a lot. Yes, that delicious double cheeseburger. Yes, a double-size order of regular fries. What more could you want?
Coca-Cola?
A Coke. Yes, if you eat only once this year, make it McDonald's Double Features.
Coming to midfield are Bronco captains John Elway, Steve Watson, Tom Jackson, Lewis Wright, and Rich Carlos, and the Giant captain Harry Carson. With us today to toss the coin is Green Bay Packer Hall of Famer Willie Davis. The referee for today's game, Jerry Markbright, will now conduct the coin toss ceremony.
For the visiting team, Captain Jackson will call it in the air. The faces, our heads, the trophy, tails. Willie, flip it. Tails is the call. It's tails. Denver wins the toss. You want to receive. Denver won the toss. They're going to receive. Good luck, gentlemen. Have a terrific game.
Again, the referee is Jerry Markbright. And the stage is set. Denver won the toss, chose to receive. John Madden, I don't know that there's any way you could hope for better weather, better playing conditions.
Well, I think that some of the big, giant defensive players would wish it were a little cooler. That was one of the things that Bill Parcells was worried about, that, you know, at the end of the season, they played back there in New York in all that cold weather, and he was worried about his team's cardiovascular conditioning. They said the one thing we don't want is a warm day.
Well, it's 77 degrees right now. It probably will cool down to the mid-40s by the time the sun goes down. But again, I guess when you play in those conditions, as they have back at Giant Stadium down the stretch when it was cold, you can run, but you really don't perspire or work out. You don't really get the same things done that you do in warm weather.
Well, and you don't even stay out as much. Now you say, well, how about the Broncos? And you always talk about that altitude, that mile-high altitude, that their cardiovascular conditioning, their endurance should be better.
Raul Alegre will kick off number 2. He was outstanding down the stretch. Gene Wang and Ken Bell, 33 and 35, stand back deep for the Broncos. Alegre gets it underway. It's going to be Lang at about the 1. Outside the 20, about the 23, knocked down by Tom Flynn. A return of 22 yards. John Elway, the outstanding athlete at quarterback for Denver. The defense he will be facing, a 3-man front, George Martin, Jim Burt in the middle, and Leonard Marshall, already introduced. 4 outstanding linebackers, Banks, Reasons, Carson, and Lawrence Taylor in the secondary. They play a zone. Patterson and Williams on the corners, Kenny Hill and Herb Welch, the 2 safeties. Elway to throw on first down, comes out of the pocket. This is what they dreaded. Elway scrambles on first down, chased by Harry Carson, knocked out of bounds, a gain of 10. Close enough, I believe, they're going to have to measure. Here's the Bronco offense. Elway, the quarterback. Winder and Wilhite start when they use two backs. Vance Johnson and Steve Watson, the wide receivers. In front, Studdard, Bishop, Brian, Cooper, Lanier, and Clarence Kay, the tight end. They're going to measure.
It's an interesting thing. They brought Lawrence Taylor on a blitz, and he came on the outside, and John Elway ran right inside of Lawrence Taylor. He ran to the same side that Taylor came from and picked up the first down.
First down, Denver. That's the one thing you talk about on offense. You got to stop Joe Morris. You look at the Broncos, you have to contain Elway.
And then when he runs, you have to contain him. When he throws, you better have all those receivers. You better have those guys covered because he can pick it up and zip it to them.
Two tight ends set up now with Orson Mobley on the right side, lined up behind Kay, and Mobley on the move. Draw play, Winder. Nothing. Marshall there first.
Sammy Winder.
An assist from Banks. Taylor. They try to rip the ball
Winder
loose.
gains the one.
The one thing about the Broncos, they're not a big running team. They hardly ever run outside anyway, and against this giant defense, you're not going to get outside. This guy, John Elway, is going to pass. They're going to use that ball control passing game. And when they do run, it's usually inside with a lot of draw plays like that one we just saw.
We'll see a lot of those, I think, don't you?
I think a lot of screens and draws.
2nd and 9. Ball's at the Bronco 35. Mobley again. That's his Clarence Kay this time on the move. Wilhite tripped up. Gain of 2. Will bring up 3rd and long.
That's just what I said. You're not going to run outside against this giant defense. Watch Carl Banks, 58, coming from the outside. I think towards the end of the season, he's become one of the best players in the whole league. You can't run at him. You know, you say you want to run away from Lawrence Taylor. That's good, but you have to run into him.
Took a couple of years after he was their first-round draft choice, but you're right. He has really developed into an outstanding linebacker. Elway will operate from the spread formation this time. Jackson in Giant territory. Hit by Collins, but a first down, Denver.
That's what John Elway was telling us is his favorite thing to do. Get in the shotgun, have his 4 wide receivers, spread that coverage out, and then be able to pick all these fast guys. Watch Mark Jackson here in the outside. He just turned Elvis Patterson right around. Patterson was staying outside. He got him out there, and he came to the inside.
Not a big guy, but great quickness. Vance Johnson split wide to the right. Watson to the left. First down, Denver at the Giant 39. Elway back to throw. Winder in the middle. Stopped by reasons, but a gain of 5. That's what Elway was saying to us. I've got to be patient. If it's not there deep, I got to take it like this.
Well, let's take a look at it. This is the way it starts. Now we'll just let it go, and we'll look at the zone that Elway is looking at. It's a first down pass. We'll see. Now, if we can stop it right here. You see, you got the 2 guys deep. You're never going to get out there, so he has to hit this underneath area in here. That's what that double deep zone looks like.
2nd and 5. Lang, one of the running backs, along with Winder. Winder with the ball. Stopped by Banks again after a gain of 3.
I think that Carl Banks went from being the other linebacker with Lawrence Taylor to being, hey, you better look at this guy, to being one of the best players in the league. I'll tell you, the games, the playoff game against 49ers, the championship game against the Redskins are the 2 best games I've seen a linebacker play.
And that would be Carl Banks. 3rd and 2. He got up, by the way, a little bit slowly after that play. 3 tight ends set up now for the Broncos. Off Winder. No gain. And on comes the barefooted place kicker for the Broncos, number 3, Rich Carlos.
Hey, watch, you're going to get penetration. It's going to be a trap play. We see 54, the guard pulling, and what happened is Banks got inside before Winder could get to the hole. They pulled Keith Bishop, and again, Carl Banks got the penetration.
There's the book on Carlos. Kubiak will be holding from 49 yards out. Timeout.
I think what happened...
Charge, timeout, Giants.
I think the Giants had too many men on the field, Pat. I think we see them there. See, they're trying to get 2 guys off. I think they ended up with 12 guys on the field.
That's right.
So now if they stay that way, then Carlos really gets a free kick. By taking the timeout, then he still has to kick from the same area.
And we should write that down somewhere. They only have 2 left here in the first half. And those things like missed extra points in time seem to come back and have an effect on the outcome of the game.
Dan Reeves, I know, really didn't want to receive. We were talking to him yesterday, and he said, I would like to kick off and let my defense play first. In fact, when they played the last time, he said in the Meadowlands, he won the toss, and he elected to kick off.
Which really shocked me.
Well, I think it's that same thing, that he feels his defense is strong and can get him good field position. But here, if he could get this drive and get a field goal here, I'm sure he'd feel pretty good again. Because we said in 20 Super Bowls, it's only been done once.
This field goal is going to be somewhere between 48 and 49, closer to 49. With Kubiak holding Rich Carlos. From this distance, he's 8 out of 14, and that's pretty good. He's going to get there. And it's good. The Broncos. Officially, it's 48 yards for Rich Carlos. And Denver leads 3-0. 10:51 left first quarter.
I got a mind for motion. I like fast guitars and fancy cars and bike rides on the ocean. Some people call this paradise. I call it Wonderland. And I pledge my allegiance to the king of beers. I'm a genuine bud man. Bud, bud, bud. I'm a bud man, yeah.
Tomorrow it'll be another game, and Foot Locker will be ahead of it in athletic footwear, just like today. Get it right for your body. Come to the Stripes.
Okay, but why Tandy Computers?
In a word, quality. We do it all, from custom-designed semiconductors to the finished product. Tandy business computers are manufactured in our own USA plants. We test and retest and test again to ensure one of the highest standards of quality in the industry. And Radio Shack provides total service and support.
I'm convinced.
Tandy Computers at Radio Shack Computer Centers. In business, for business.
With a front line like this, it's a whole new ball game. Cheer up, you Monday morning quarterbacks. The season may be over, but Designing Women is taking the field next Sunday.
Eight plays, 45 yards. The Broncos kept the ball 4 minutes, 9 seconds. And the 48-yard field goal by Carlos ties the longest in Super Bowl history, which was held and set by Jan Stinnerud in 1970. Lee Roussan of the Giants at the 3. Roussan outside the 20 to about the 21. Knocked down by Rick Dennison. Return of 19. Phil Simms, the Giant quarterback, and the defense he'll face, at least in the beginning. They make a lot of changes. Townsend and Rulon Jones, the ends. Greg Cragen in the middle. The linebackers Ryan, Mecklenburg, Hundley, and Jackson. And in the secondary, Wright and Harden on the corners, and Smith and Foley, the safety men. First down, Giants at their own 22. Lionel Manuel starting and split wide to the right. Sims going to work early. To Manuel. First down, Giants at about the 38. In front of Louis Wright. Giant offensive setup has Sims, of course, the quarterback, Joe Morris and Maurice Carthon, the runners. Johnson and Manuel starting wide. And up front, the group that's been together so long, Benson, Ard, Oates, Godfrey, and Nelson, and the tight end, Mark Bavaro. Bobby Johnson split wide left, and Manuel moves back in motion, and Sims is going again. Bavaro by Dennis Smith. Gain of 8.
Well, I like this plan of the Giants, Pat, is not coming out, not being conservative, not just starting out running your fullback or running Joe Morris. That's what they want to do. They want to come out, start attacking, start passing, loosen up the defense. Then when they get them loosened up, they get them off balance, then boom, you pop a Joe Morris in there on them.
2nd and 1.5. Stacy Robinson split wide to the left this time. Bavaro lines up on the right. Manuel moves, and Morris gets the carry. Morris breaks into the secondary and gets down to the Denver 40, out of bounds there by Steve Foley. Picked up 12.
Now, the Giants are doing another interesting thing. The Broncos defense tries to put Mecklenburg on the strong side. That's the side of the tight end. That's where Mark Bavaro is, 89. Now, they have their weak side linebacker, Tom Jackson, their 57, on Bavaro. They want Mecklenburg on Bavaro. The reason Jackson ends up on him is that Bavaro switched from the left to the right.
He's on the right again. 1st and 10. And Sims up top to Morris. Not much there. 3 yards by Jim Ryan and Louis Wright.
What it is the Broncos think that Joe Morris runs to the strong side most of the time, to the tight end side, which he does. So they want to put Mecklenburg, number 77, on that side. They want to put Mecklenburg the whole game where they think Joe Morris is going to run. That's Joe Collier, the defensive coordinator. Watch Mecklenburg. He looks, he sees the formation, then he lines up on this side. But then Bavaro moves to the other side, and Mecklenburg's back here.
2nd and 8. Morris again. Out of bounds inside the Denver 30, but there's a flag down on the play. Foley chased him out of bounds. Morris got 11. But now they'll have a conference.
Looks like holding. It's the Giants, yeah.
Late flag.
It must have been downfield holding. Most holding occurs in the offensive line.
Holding, number 89, offense, 2nd down.
And that was it. 89, of course, is Mark Bavaro, the tight end. We saw him earlier on a play hold Tom Jackson. Now watch him here. He's on the end of the line of scrimmage, again blocking Jackson. See, he had that right hand up there early, and he took him down there, and then the flag did come in later. I don't know, it's tough when you're wearing blue gloves and you're blocking a guy with a white jersey. Your hand on him is very easy to see.
2nd and 18. The Giants back at the Denver 49. To Morris again. Morris hammers down to the 41. Stopped by Foley. But he still got 8.
You know, it's an interesting thing. They have yet to get Mecklenburg to the side that Morris runs. You see, Mecklenburg is up on top of the screen. We can see it here. Mecklenburg is here. They would like him in here because this is where they want to run. But by switching Bavaro, they're getting Mecklenburg away from where they want to run.
Pretty solid plan. 3rd and 10. Tony Galbraith back in the backfield next to Sims. How's McConkey in motion? Sims to Stacy Robinson. And the Giants get their first down.
good move by Stacy Robinson. Watch him, he's going to end up running an out. You see, he started to the inside, and he got the corner, Steve Wilson, to bite for the inside move. Then he went back to the sideline.
So that makes it 1st and 10 at the Bronco 23. Denver leading 3-0. McConkey this time split up at the top of your picture. Johnson was the man in motion, but this is Morris. This time Ricky Hundley and Mecklenburg get the job done.
Well, like I said, Joe Collier, the defensive coordinator in the Broncos, wanted them to have to run into Mecklenburg. But by shifting the tight end, they've kept him away. But now Mecklenburg, they're running away from him. He knows they're trying to stay away from him. So he sees that tackle pull. Watch him. He just comes right down the line. Don't go where the back is. Go down the line where he's going to be. He'll show up there, you know.
This guy, they didn't think he was much of a player when drafted, Mecklenburg, but they couldn't keep him out of the lineup, and they still can't. Sims back to throw. Bavaro. And he's down to about the 5.5, a gain of 18. It'll be 1st and goal, Giants. He's stopped by Randy Robbins.
Tell you, Mark Bavaro is so big and so strong and has such great hands. Watch him here. He's going to start to the outside, but he's going to run Dennis Smith up the field, turn him back to the inside of Robbins up the field, and then he just has that big body and those great hands.
He just sort of swatted the defender aside. It's 1st and goal from the 6.
He does a lot of swatting of guys aside.
It does. And carrying guys. And running over guys. Sims. Touchdown. Zeke Moat. From 6 yards away.
I was just saying, Pat, that drive is a Super Bowl drive. It's an all-star drive. Moat is the motion man. See him on top of the screen? He came across the formation, up the field, and then back across in the end zone where he originally came from.
Allegre with Jeff Rutledge holding. 7-3. Giants lead. So with 5:27 gone in the 1st quarter at the Rose Bowl, the Giants lead the Broncos 7-3.
McDonald's presents Double Features. He was hungry for money. He was hungry for power. But most of all,
welcome to McDonald's.
He was hungry. Hungry for McDonald's Double Features. McDonald's Big Beefy Double Cheeseburger or a double-size order of McDonald's regular fries. A taste big enough to satisfy his hunger. But only available for a limited time.
Everybody knows how to do that kick. Health kick. Yeah. Whoa. The goodness of milk is a real health kick. Health kick. Yeah, milk. You pour a glass of milk real tall, getting calcium and vitamins and loving it all. Looking good. Well, come on, everybody. Milk's that kick. Health kick. Do that kick. Come on, everybody. Do that kick. America's favorite health kick. Milk. To know no boundaries, to let yourself run free. To know no boundaries is what the world should be.
Wherever there are investment opportunities, Merrill Lynch is there with the help you need to make the most of them. Because at Merrill Lynch, we believe your world should know no boundaries.
To know no boundaries.
Top-ranked Iowa faces the tough-at-home Wolverines on Michigan turf. Then Syracuse and Georgetown in their first battle this year next Saturday on CBS Sports.
The Giants 7, Denver 3. We're in the first quarter with 5:27 remaining. Giants took 9 plays in that drive. Sims was 6 for 6. And the touchdown pass to Mowat. Allegre's kickoff goes to Bell. Bell with a little room. Bell almost with a lot of room. Stopped again by Tom Flynn, but a return of 28 yards. Allegre's kick short.
Phil Sims is over there on the sideline talking about that touchdown and about how he got it. Watch his motion. Here's Zeke Mowat. He's going to come across the field of motion. Now the Broncos, this guy's covering him. When he goes in motion, this guy switches. Mowat comes up, boom, beats him here, catches the ball for a touchdown. Watch him now. He starts there, comes across. See the switch in the Bronco defense? Then up and in and touchdown.
Broncos go this time with one setback. That's Watson in motion. Elway fakes. Gets it out to Winder. Winder for the Giant 44. Stopped by Welch finally. And Harry Carson. But they gain 14 and get a Bronco first down.
That's that patience that John Elway was talking about. Go that play pass. Look deep, but don't throw it deep. Don't force anything. You see there, he's looking deep. Now he sees Winder underneath. You see the linebackers are deep. You see 53 Carson back there. Let him go back. Let 56 Taylor go back. Let them all get deep and then hit Winder underneath. Then if they start coming up on that, then boom, go deep.
First down, Denver, and Elway drops again. Fires outside, this time Mobley. Big Orson gets another Denver first down. Gain of 11. He weighs about 265 or somewhere in that area.
Or more. Number 89 is Orson Mobley there. He's only a rookie, but he's about 270 pounds. Dan Reeves said he was originally 256. Then they gave him a weight of 260, so he got up to 265. He said he looked a little slow last week against Cleveland. He said, so I put him on the scales, and he was over 270, and he's a tight end.
Still has not been an incomplete pass in the game. Sims 6 for 6 on the drive, and Elway just as efficient, and drops again. Gonna throw a screen. It's Winder. Knocked out of bounds finally by Harry Carson, but that's near another Denver first down. Gain of 9. They might be a little bit short. Flag on the play.
It's something out of bounds. It was a hit out of bounds, so it's going to be a 15-yard penalty. The Broncos don't run wide, but in lieu of that, they do a lot of that screen-type stuff.
That's Pepper Johnson over with the officials. And the discussion continues.
I think it looked like a hit, Pat, out of bounds, a late hit.
We have 2 fouls on the play on the Giants. 4 fouls are being forced. Personal foul, late hit out of bounds, number 53, defense. Unsportsmanlike conduct foul, number 56, for throwing the marker after the foul is called. First down.
Well, let's look again.
Well, here's the screen pass. There's Winder. Someone made a good block on Taylor. Now, that was the first penalty there. That was on Carson for hitting Winder out of bounds. Then the guy threw the thing, and Lawrence Taylor threw the marker.
And as Jerry Markbright said, both penalties were enforced, and so the Broncos are down to the 6-yard line, where it'll be first and goal. That was serious.
Well, you know, there was a lot. I think Lawrence Taylor got upset because he was the guy that was responsible for that screen pass, and he got knocked down, and that allowed Winder to get outside of him.
First and goal at the 6. Bobby Michaud over the right side. Elway not happy with what he saw, and Denver takes a timeout. We have 3:37 left to play in the first quarter. It's the Giants 7, the Broncos 3. Denver timeout.
We got style. We got class. We got the diet that's making us fast. We got the juice when you got a passion.
slice with 100% NutraSweet.
We got the juice.
All diet, all delicious.
Diet Slice.
Seiko celebrates Super Bowl 21 with Super Gift Time 87. What a golden opportunity to give unrivaled Seiko technology. Fine Seiko design, detail, elegance. Starting tomorrow, participating authorized dealers are offering the most extraordinary values on a special collection of Seiko watches for the dates on your calendar that call for a special gift. Look for the Super Gift Pennant in the window. You'll find super buys inside.
Something's stirring, and there's no denying its energy. Its arrival. This phenomenon goes by the name of Daytona. The brand new front-wheel drive Dodge Daytona. Be prepared for even more excitement per mile. Dodge Daytona. Dodge, setting new standards of performance.
Tonight, after Super Bowl 21, Hard Copy delivers the action.
The Slice blimp furnishing those pictures from above the Rose Bowl and 105,000 people. First and goal from the 6 for the Broncos. The Giants leading 7-3. Wilhite and Sewell now are the two backs. Sewell with the ball. Sewell cut down by Elvis Patterson. A loss of 3. And Carl Banks again with an assist.
I'll tell you, I would think the Broncos, they get down here. This is where Elway says he really doesn't like to be because it kind of shortens that pass area. They aren't a real powerful offensive team. And I think he would like to play pass here, but when you lose yardage and you have long yardage, it's tough to play pass. I think he's just going to have to go back and throw it in the end zone.
They're just really not a very big physical team. And I think you're exactly right. Elway thinks so too as he operates out of the spread. Middle. Inside to 5 to Vance Johnson. A gain of 6. And it'll be 3rd and goal from there. Stopped by Reasons.
There's Dan Reeves, and you see Gary Kubiak, number 8, is a backup quarterback with signals. The first thing they signal in is 4. That means 4 wide receivers. So this is going to be a spread formation. Then they signal in the pass pattern.
Since the playoffs began, this is the deepest penetration against the Giants. 3rd and goal from the 4, and the 4 wide receivers. Jackson goes in motion. Elway up the middle. Touchdown.
You can't give him a lane. That's what the Giants did, and that's what makes Elway so effective. He can not only throw it as strong as anyone, but you get the 4 wide receivers. You get that defense spread. Now he comes back. He looks for a hole. Look at that big gap. See, they just turn the ends out. The linebackers run out, and there's a hole like a truck for Elway to run through.
The center, Bryan, with an outstanding block. And the Broncos recaptured the lead. 2:06 left to play the first quarter. Denver 10, the Giants 7.
I love you, little Jenny Catherine. I want to tell you something very, very important. Daddy got a raise. That means I can buy you a sandbox, a sliding board. What do you think? You think we should put some of it away? What do you know about the stock market? I love you, little Jenny Catherine. Guess what? Daddy got a raise.
Managing information means storing it, finding it, and moving it from A to B. When that meant linking 800 miles of Alaskan pipeline, they called Contel. When it meant matching orders to inventory at the Stoneham Lumber Company, they called Contel. Small business or tall order, Contel can help you manage information better, too. For Contel, I'm Charlton Hest.
Bring in the drafting table next. You know what it means to start your own business. A lot of work and some big headaches. But I don't take aspirin or Tylenol anymore. Today I take Advil. Fact is, Advil has a non-prescription strength of the medicine in the prescription brand Motrin. Doctors have already recommended Advil over 5 million times for so many types of pain. So today it's Advil. Business is tough enough. I don't want to compete with a headache. Advil, tablets and new caplets. Advanced medicine for pain.
Football's about over, so it's time to hit the greens. So why don't you join my friends and me at Pebble Beach, huh?
Denver 10, the Giants 7. Still in the first quarter. The scoring drive, 6 plays, 58 yards. Elway scored on a 4-yard run. Rich Carlos set to kick it off. Roussan and Hill back deep for the Giants. Roussan at his own 7. First by Robbins, down by Woodard.
Let's watch the touchdown again, man. Here's Dave Studdard. He turns out Leonard Marsh, gets that out there. Billy Bryan makes a good block on Burt, gets him going there, and this forms the hole for Elway. Then Keith Bishop leads through here in the linebacker. I got too many scratches in there. Watch the tackle will turn out on Marshall, Studdard. Watch the center, Billy Bryan. See, he gets Burt going that way. Look at that big hole there. And then Keith Bishop leads him into the end zone.
10-7, Broncos lead, 1st and 10 Giants at their own 22. Sims again to throw. Again complete, this time Morris. Almost 30-yard line. Andre Townsend made the stop, but a gain of 7. There still hasn't been an incomplete pass.
I was just going to say the balls are being kept in good condition. There's yet to be a football hit the ground here. There's Bill Belichick. He's the defensive coordinator of the Giants.
One of the things you have to do to be a defensive coordinator is to learn to write upside down.
Write upside down and talk while you're writing, and then know what they just did. He's just diagramming to them what we just diagrammed.
2nd and 2 at the 30. Sims to Morris. Morris first down Giants. Woodard again on the stop. 17 points. Denver leading 10-7. That ties Super Bowl record.
There'll be a lot of records around here.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone says it's always a boring Super Bowl. It could end up to be boring, but it sure has a pretty good start to it.
Roussan and Anderson both in the game. Anderson is the lone setback, number 24. O.J. Anderson on 1st and 10. Anderson left side hit behind the line of scrimmage. Mecklenburg was first there, a loss of 2.
I think what the Giants are trying to do there was to maybe play O.J. Anderson a little more today, but use the halfback as a decoy and run the other back being O.J. Anderson. That didn't fool Mecklenburg.
Clock down to no seconds, and that's the end of the first quarter. Super Bowl 21, the Broncos lead the Giants 10-7.
Flight 124, fly runway heading to 3000, right turn to 270. You are cleared for takeoff.
Introducing DuPont certified Stainmaster carpet. Stainmaster gives you a revolutionary new level of protection against stains and spills that's better than any other carpet you can buy today. Because you never know. New Stainmaster from DuPont Carpet Fibers.
The National Football League salutes the United Way on its centennial. 100 years of caring. It started in Denver in 1887 when 4 clergymen of different faiths created the idea of one campaign to help many. The idea of helping has been passed through all these generations to you the volunteers, the contributors, the recipients. See all that we've been and all that we can become. The United Way, it brings out the best in all of us.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl 21 is sponsored by John Hancock Financial Services. Real life, real answers. Budweiser, the genuine article, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. No matter how far you go, Goodyear takes you home.
NFL on CBS, Super Bowl number 21, the Giants with Morris left side and some room.
Joe
Morris hit by Tony Lilly. One of the things that the Broncos do is change the people around on defense, and the Giants say it doesn't have an effect, but it has to have an effect. You don't know who you're blocking.
Well, you don't, and you have to block different guys all the time. See, we can see Fletcher's in there now, Gilbert's in there, Wilson's in it at cornerback, Lilly's in for Foley. They substitute just about everyone except three guys, and those three would be Rulon Jones, Carl Mecklenburg, and Dennis Smith. They're about the only three that don't come out of that defense.
3rd and 3, Sims from the shotgun. Up on top and nobody there. McConkey is saying, hey, they interfered with me, knocked me down. Phil McConkey jumped up and started waving arms, but to no avail.
Not only did he say that they knocked me down, I think he was giving the guy's number who knocked him down. Sims gets a little pressure from his right. But other than that, pretty good pass protection. So he can step up. You see Rulon Jones got there right at the end.
And so Sean Landeta comes on to punt. Freddie Gilbert back deep for the Broncos. Landeta had a great week in practice. Coming after it, but he still gets off a fine kick. It's Wilhite. He lets it bounce, and it goes into the end zone, and the Broncos will start from their own 20. Mark Jackson was the man who put the pressure on Landeta, who nevertheless got off a 59-yard kick. But they'll bring it back out to the 20.
Hey, you talk about Landeta punting well in practice. How about against the Redskins in that championship game? That punt that he put down there on the goal line into the wind was one of the great punts that I've ever seen.
Bill Parcells was saying when we talked with him yesterday that in practice he had never seen Landeta better.
Well, he said the same thing about Phil Sims. He said on Thursday it was about as good as he's ever practiced. He told him, hey, save some of those.
Reeves said the same thing about Elway. Lang, the ball carrier, pulled down by Lawrence Taylor for a loss of 2.
Yeah, that has to be a tough thing for an offensive coordinator, a quarterback to call. You run one time, they start running at Banks early in the first quarter. They didn't make anything there. So we'll say, well, we'll run at Taylor. We'll put Winder on him. Taylor just pushes Winder down, boom, right to the outside. They got bookends there, and which end you want to run at is not a good deal either way.
2nd and 12. Denver up by 3. Mobley is the move man. All the way back. Incomplete. Intended for Mobley. Elway under pressure from Leonard Marshall.
Let's watch Marshall. Now he's in what they call a reduced position. He's the second guy up there, number 70. He's not over the end. He's over the guard. He works to the outside, taking 2 guys. He starts on the inside, works to the outside, and then Taylor comes inside. So Marshall got there, and Jim Burt was also there.
3rd and 12. Elway wants somebody to move. Motions in that direction. Back to throw. Comes out of the pocket. No question about his arm, and he's got a man. Vance Johnson. Inside the Giant 30.
You know, John Elway has a great arm. One of the greatest arms he's probably ever thrown a football. But he scrambles for 2 positions, for 2 reasons. 1, he scrambles to get away from the rush, and 2, when he has no one open. He feels the rush here. And you see, this is what he's looking at. So he's going to run out here, buy some more time. Now he's going to get deep. He said that he had to stay patient against the zone, but when he can run, then that zone breaks up, and he can get a speed guy like Vance Johnson deep. Hey, there's Lawrence Taylor being picked up by Keith Bishop. Bishop gave him a wrap around the neck, and then center Billy Bryan came off to help.
Winder and Lang. That was a gain of 54 yards from Elway. Back to throw it again. The screen pass to Winder. To about the 22. Stopped by Pepper Johnson. A gain of 6. Perry Williams with the assist. That's the thing that they had to do. They do it.
And they do that well. It's one of the things that if a defense gets deep in the zone and gives you that loose zone, then you can let them get deep, throw the screen pass out to your receiver, get the lineman out in front, and get a pretty good run at it.
That's the book on Elway, and that's pretty impressive. 2nd and 4. 11:49 left to play in the first half. Semi-roll out right. Chased by Marshall. Throws back across the field. Just threw it away. Leonard Marshall. Looking in his eyes.
Well, that's one of the things that the Giants want to do when Elway goes out to the right. There. You see that signal there? That was Mo for Mobley, meaning 89's coming into the game. And there he is. You know that deal where he puts his hand, it's like the Three Stooges trying to block the 2 fingers in the eyes? That means Mo. And Mo means Mobley.
And Mobley's a big package.
That's a 275-pound Mo.
Elway is 8 out of 10. Vance Johnson on the move, and Elway retreats. Here comes the blitz. Elway unloads. And it's Mobley, and he struggles for enough for a Bronco first down. Pepper Johnson on the stop.
You know, when you get a big guy running across the field, as a quarterback, you can't miss him. Watch, he uses the umpire. He runs right at the official first, then right across the field. Now you got that big target, that 6'5", 270. If you can't find him, you can't see anything.
Stopped by Herb Welch. Dan Reeves was saying to us yesterday, the guy's got a lot to learn, but he's really going to be something. He already is.
I think the way he receives the ball, he's going to be a superstar receiver. He really is. He's a new dimension. They don't have guys that weigh that much out in the open field.
Watson was the man in motion. Gene Lang straight ahead for 3. Stopped by Carson.
You know, the Giant defense has been so effective, and of course they were highly favored in this game, but I don't think anyone told Dan Reeves or John Elway about that. They're just going out there and playing them like they're just another group of guys.
They haven't heard about that yet, in spite of everything that's been written.
Yeah, when we talked to Elway the other night, he kind of exuded confidence.
Really.
And had the feeling, I got a secret.
2nd and 7. Ball at the Giant 13, and Elway drops with a lot of time. Complete to Lang inside the Giant 10. He hangs on. Gain of 4, not enough for a first down. Taylor and Patterson on a hit for the Giants.
A group that's doing a good job is that offensive line, because they have that defense of the Giants. They have it pretty well under control, and they are giving John Elway the time.
Tell you, John, he looks very comfortable. You said he looked very confident the other night, but he seems very comfortable with the way things are going. He should be. His team leads 10-7. And they're down close again. Elway. Sewell. Kenny Hill on the stop. Gain of 7 and a Bronco first down.
Tell you, Sewell is one of those guys who can do everything. He's a running back. He's a receiver. He can play outside receiver. Here, Elway is just throwing him on out. Kenny Hill, number 48, is late getting over there, and Sewell gets it down to the 1. Hey, Steve Sewell was injured, and Dan Reeves was saying when he was out, we had something like 4 different guys to get what he gave.
He didn't play in the first meeting, the regular season meeting between these two. Stuttered. A tackle lined up the tight end of right. Elway knocked out of bounds at about the 3 by Lawrence Taylor, a loss of 1.
One thing that the Giants do is from that backside, they get those guys up as deep as Elway. Well, they say when he really gives you trouble is when he runs away and then you let him double back. Then you don't have a chance. And that's what they were doing that last play. They really just pinned Elway right into the sideline.
2nd and goal then. The ball between the 2 and the 3. Denver leading 10-7. Pat Summerall, John Madden. Super Bowl 21. Way ahead and nothing is Will Height. He never got underway. Eric Dorsey was the first man to hit him. An assist from Carson.
We were watching the Giants practice, and the coach always yells at them, you know, nose on the ground. Get your heads in the grass. Get down there. Stay low. I tell you, they did a pretty good job of doing that.
3rd and goal now, and they're still at the same place between the 2 and the 3.
This will be a play pass. They do have a tackle. Dave Studdard is playing tight end. It could be a tackle eligible. See him down here at the bottom, 70.
Winder. By Banks. They lose 3.
I think a pass would have been a better call. That run didn't have a chance. They got out there and it was met by about 6 or 7 blue jerseys. But it's going to be out to our right, to the Broncos' left. Paul, they get the guy in the backfield. They get Carson. They get Banks coming from behind. The safety in there. Everyone's in there. Where Sammy Winder doesn't have a chance. Terry Williams got penetration into the backfield, made him cut back, and there's nothing there.
So Carlos with his 2nd field goal attempt of the day. This one from 24 yards out. Kubiak holding. Carlos is no good. Denver 10, Giants 7.
All I want to do is hurting, crippling. When the switch goes on, I feel like I can shoot.
The talk is over. Now the action begins. Get in here. Stallone.
Why not?
Over the top. Rated PG. Soon everywhere.
Cheese, glorious cheese.
Tastes mighty inviting.
Cheese, glorious cheese.
It's so tantalizing.
Whether you like it saucy, snappy, mild, or wild, real cheese has a taste for you.
Enjoy cheese, marvelous cheese, wonderful cheese, glorious cheese.
If you think I look good, Miss Van Heusen, you should see Jeffrey. After all, it's his shirt.
Van Heusen, for a man to wear and a woman to borrow.
With every Budweiser enjoyed, the promise endures. The promise of genuine quality. Without compromise, without fail. Beechwood-aged Budweiser and Bud Light. Genuine proof that somebody still and always will care about quality. And that is a promise.
The
Houston Rockets, sparked by the power of the Towers, take on the Atlanta Hawks in the flash attack of Dominique next Sunday on CBS Sports.
It's still Denver 10, the Giants 7. Second quarter with 7:40 left to play. Here's the miss.
Well, you know, it looked like Kubiak holds the ball. Now it looks like just before he kicks it, see him moving in towards him? Looked like he moved the ball towards him. And then Carlos comes in and just pushes it right out to the right. You see it right there? You see it tilt back towards the holder just before he kicked it.
So the Giants start at their own 20. Sims goes back to throw again. Complete. Bavaro. Dennis Smith, the defender. Giant first down.
Hey, Dennis Smith is a big, tall guy, and he still gets out-muscled here or turned around. Watch him by Bavaro. You see, he just can't get over him. He tried to go over the top, and Bavaro just went down to his knees and counted down below him.
First and 10, Giants their own 33, and Sims really aired it out. Goes to work again. Finds Stacy Robinson this time. Outside the 40. Gain of 9.
They talked all week about how they had to stop Joe Morris. There's Dexter Manley of the Redskins, who was trying to stop Joe Morris just a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, the Bronco defense really felt they had to stop Joe Morris, and then lo and behold, they come into the game, and it's Phil Simms that they have to stop and the wide receivers.
Well, down the stretch, it was Simms, when Morris got stopped, that carried the load. Jackson, Tom Jackson, in difficulty. And the Bronco medical staff helping him off the field with 6:40 left in the first half. 10-7.
There are some people who like the taste of Coke. And yes, there are some people who like the taste of Pepsi. But there will always be some people who go out of their way for the great taste of RC Cola.
Welcome back, Brad. All those trips you made paid off. The Avcon people just called and gave us the project. Check your top drawer. There's one more trip I want you to take. Aloha, Brad, and thanks.
When there's something special, people know it.
To you, it's a major office complex. To us at Johnson Controls, it's keeping 68,000 people warm or cool. To you, it's a small office building. To us, it's an updated energy management and maintenance program that pays for itself. To you, it's the Superdome. To us, it's handling one of the biggest computerized lighting jobs ever. We're at work in over 500 cities around the world, creating a better climate for business. Give us a call.
You know, I think Tom Jackson, he's right here. Watch him, Pat. I think he pulled a hamstring. It's a non-contact injury. Watch him. He's coming out here in coverage. And watch as he start there. He just pulls up right there. See him pull up and start to limp in that right leg. Looked like he just pulled a hamstring or got a cramp.
Woodard takes his place. Ken Woodard, number 52. 2nd and 2. Manual in motion. Handoff to Carthon. He's hit by Rulon Jones. He got one. Not enough for a first down.
Rulon Jones is one of the Pro Bowl players on this Bronco defense. And like I said, I think that whole thing is built around him. Let's watch him. He's here. He can come up here and then collapse to the inside. He has great range. He has a great motor. Runs about 110 miles an hour. I mean, he goes for 4 quarters at that same pace.
3rd and short. 3rd and 1. The ball's at the 41. The Giants think they can go wide on short yardage. Instead, they go to Morris, and Morris goes straight ahead and gets the first down. That's a play that no one else runs, but they run it so well.
And it's just such a simple play. It's just a straight dive into the side that Morris is on. I think one of the reasons it's so effective is Joe Morris usually runs across the backfield. And then on that one, he goes right straight ahead.
First down, Giants, their own 45. Denver leading with 5:13 left in the first half. 10-7. Sims back to throw it. Into the pocket, out of the pocket. Finally gets it out to Carthon, who's hit by Woodard. And he might have gotten a half yard, maybe a 1. Jackson, by the way, sprained his knee on that coverage we saw a minute ago. Non-contact, as John said. We thought it was a hamstring or an ankle or something, but it was a knee. He might be back. Been around a while.
He has been, and this is one of his best years. They thought in the offseason that they didn't want him back, and then he went to worked real hard in the offseason. Really, for one of the first times, got in great shape and had one of his best years this year.
2nd and 9. Tomorrow, hit by Jones, got away from him, stopped by Ryan, and a few more people.
You know, Carl Mecklenburg, number 77, is one of those guys who just loves to play football. Came into the Broncos as a down lineman. He was the last draft choice. He was 12th draft choice, 12th round. He said he came in, he said, I was naive. I didn't even know that I couldn't. I thought when you got drafted, you just make the team. He said he was the first guy in his class to get an apartment. And he came in the same year as John Elway.
That's McConkey in motion. Sims back to throw under pressure. Robinson, the receiver. Sims under pressure from Mecklenburg.
I think he gets the pressure, and he really can't step up and get the zip on it. Mecklenburg, you see, he's right down there at his leg. He has one of those leg hook, take, pull downs. And then Sims couldn't step, and then the ball just died on him, and he one-hopped it out there.
Landetta punt in the direction of Wilhite. Their catch. 38-yard kick. The Broncos take over at their own 15. 1st and 10 with 3:33 left to play in the first half.
Seiko celebrates Super Bowl 21 with Super Gift Time 87. What a golden opportunity to give unrivaled Seiko technology. Fine Seiko design, detail, elegance. Starting tomorrow, participating authorized dealers are offering the most extraordinary values on a special collection of Seiko watches for the dates on your calendar that call for a special gift. Look for the Super Gift pennant in the window. You'll find super buys inside.
First day of work.
Well, wish me luck.
You'll do fine. On time.
Hey, Bill, want to go fishing? Nope, I'm going to work.
Want to make a good impression.
I hear there's a new kid starting today. Oh, I hope he's cute. We're open in a few minutes, sir.
I think it's a little late to start a new profession. You got what it takes, you know it's true.
You're a real kid.
But you'll show them a trick or two.
Let's see, that's 3 bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits, 1 egg McMuffin, 2 sausage muffin with egg, and 1 large OJ.
Are you sure you never did this before?
Thank you. Come again.
How'd it go?
I don't know how they ever got along without me.
Well, I could have told him that.
No matter who wins, it's how you play the game that counts.
All right, both barrels.
Outlaws, Saturday on CBS.
Oh, you can depend on it.
It's the NFL on CBS, and it's Super Bowl 21. The New York Giants against the Denver Broncos. We're live at the Rose Bowl with just over 3.5 minutes left to play in the first half. And the Broncos lead the Giants 10-7. Giants were heavy favorites. Winder is the lone setback. That's Mobley moving over to the right. Elway comes out from behind by Leonard Marshall.
That, I think, is where the Giant defense has an advantage against Elway scrambling, is that they have fast guys covering them. Lawrence Taylor is backing off into coverage. We see him, then he comes up. See, he's just spying Elway. He sees he's going to run, then he comes back up, and Leonard Marshall catches him from behind. Now, Taylor on that play is doing what they call a spy. He is just mirroring the quarterback, Elway. If Elway starts to run, he's going to come right at him and make him go right or left.
First sack of the day, a loss of 2. 2nd and 12, Broncos their own 13. Elway back again. Pass complete to Clarence Kay. He was down, and down as a result of contact, but nevertheless. Now they say incomplete.
That's going to be an interesting one.
Kay thought he had it. Dan Reeves thought he had it.
I thought he had it. But that doesn't make any difference, does it? It's what the guys down there think. Benjamin's right here in the middle.
I still think he had it.
Well, they're going to look at it now. They just signaled the umpire who told the referee. And I think we got to look at that thing.
That would be, if it's ruled a completion, enough for a first down and get the Broncos out of the hole. Art McNally in the middle reviewing. Jack Reeder on his left. Jan Van Duzer, all those from the National Football League office reviewing. They're taking another look, and so will we.
I don't know. That one's hard for me to see through his legs to see if it bounced or not. I can't tell.
At first look, it looked like a complete pass. That's how long they've been looking.
You know, I think we have to remember in this instant replay that it has to be conclusive evidence. So the guy has to see that it didn't. We haven't seen it yet. See, and they ruled it an incomplete pass. So if it's not conclusive, then they have to stay with that.
Their communication, by the way, is with the umpire, who is Bob Boylston. Now here's Jerry Markbright.
After further review, the play stands as called. Third down.
Incomplete. Play stands. It'll make it 3rd and 12. Denver back at their own 13. If that play had been ruled the other direction, it would have been enough for a first down. 2:52 left to play in the first half. Denver 10. The Giants 7. Elway this time out of the spread. Under heat, safety. George Martin.
George Martin has had big games against these Broncos. Remember, it was George Martin who intercepted the pass in the first game and ran it in for a touchdown. And now it's George Martin, a 12-year veteran, who comes up with a big play, the sack for 2 points. Number 75 from the outside. He's working against Ken Lanier. Just keeps going up the field. Elway started to fall into that side, and Martin gets 2 points for his team.
And it's 10-9, 2:46 left to play in the first half. And a safety, it's 2 points, yes. But what else it does to you can be drastic also.
Well, of course, the Broncos now have to kick a free kick to the Giants. and that'll be from the 20-yard line. Now, the Broncos are still huddled up over in the sideline. The free kick can either be your kickoff guy or your punter. Now, I'm sure that they'll use their punter in this thing, and they'll punt from the 20. So the Giants get 2 points. Now they're going to get the ball right back, and usually with pretty good field position.
If it is your kickoff guy, though, in this case it would be Carlos, he can't use a tee. He's not used to that. So it is going to be Mike Horan to Phil McConkey in the middle for the Giants.
And the Giants, the restraining line now is 10 yards, so the Giants return team starts on the 30.
10-9. Denver leading with 2:46 left to play. The Giants have 2 timeouts left in the first half. Kick is not very good, but it gets away from the Giants. McConkey, Tom Flynn chases it down, and the Broncos come out of that one smelling like a rose, as in bold.
Well, the Broncos needed something because they had a great drive the time before. They went all the way down, and then they missed the field goal. And you know that's going to come back to hurt them. Then the next time they get the ball, they give up a safety. So we're in a process right now that the Giants are taking over this game. And the Broncos defense now has to get it back for them.
2:36 remaining first half. Giant ball, 1st and 10, their own 25. Bobby Johnson split wide to the right. Now he comes in motion. Sims goes back to throw it. Gets it upfield to Joe Morris, and Morris taken down by Ricky Hundley. Good open field tackle.
Ricky Hundley, number 98 of the Broncos, the inside linebacker, was talking about being able to see Joe Morris. He said that's tough for an inside linebacker. He said because Morris is short and you can't see him. He said so what we have to do is just read our keys. And if we read our keys, that means, you know, the guards pulling and the tackles blocking down and so on. He said if we read our keys, the keys will take us to where Morris is.
2 minutes left in the first half. Denver up by 1. Ricky Hundley crowds that uniform.
Tomorrow it'll be another game, and Foot Locker will be ahead of it in athletic footwear, just like today. Get it right for your body. Come to the Stripes.
We're letting go, we got a real twist. We got the juice and we can't miss. We got the juice, nothing's gonna stop us. We got the taste, no one else can top us. We got the juice.
In every slice you choose.
The art of investment and financial security requires painstaking preparation, bold strokes influenced by a mastery of expertise, a creative approach to IRAs, annuities, and innovative forms of insurance. As one of the strongest diversified financial institutions, we have the capabilities to turn the business of investment into an art. The Travelers. Have you looked under the Travelers umbrella lately?
Who you rooting for, Chuck?
Giants.
Pop?
Dublin.
That's Denver, Pop.
No! The Kavanaughs.
Coming up at halftime on the Super Bowl today, this is the 100th anniversary of Hollywood. And at halftime, there will be a spectacular extravaganza of something like 2,000 people saluting what they call the land of make-believe. And Irv and Will also have locker room reports. Brent will be along with Dan Deerdorf to analyze the first half. That's all coming up at the half. 2 minutes left in the first half. 10-9. Denver leads. 2nd and 11. Sims to throw. Has some time. to Maurice Carthon to about the 30. Stopped this time by Mecklenburg and Ryan.
Yeah, you talk about halftime. You talk about, Brent and Dan Deerdorf. One of the plays I'm sure they're going to talk about is that Clarence K play. Let's watch it again, this time from reverse angle, and it doesn't look like the ball hit the ground. See the ball coming in? It never hits the ground. It looks like Clarence K did, in fact, catch that ball. So now they didn't get that ball, so they had to go in third. Then they got the safety. So that's a big, big play in this first half.
Remember that. Sims, Bavaro up the middle, incomplete. He had a couple of steps on Tony Lilly. Sims just overshot it.
You know that Mark Bavaro is big and he's strong and he's a good blocker, but he doesn't look that fast. But I think he has sneaky speed because somehow he ends up deep behind these guys.
And open a lot.
Open, yeah.
Landetta on the punt. And Wilhite back deep for Denver. He had a great year. Not his best, but not bad. Wilhite, no fair catch. Around the outside to about the 38-yard line where the Broncos will take over. 2 timeouts left and 1 minute and 5 seconds left to play in the first half. Robbie Jones made the stop on Wilhite.
Well, the Bronco defense did a good job of stopping the Giants on that drive because, like I said, they had to take this game back over. They just lost the 2 points. They had bad field position. They, that K thing, that play that's going to be discussed for a long time, and all those things going against them. Now they turn it around, and they end up with pretty good field position.
1:05 left to play in the first half. There's another Giant timeout. It looks like
that's Perry Williams. It looked like he just went down in the huddle, Pat. The defensive team was huddling right up there. They broke the huddle, and Perry Williams just stayed there.
Well, he made the tackle on the punt return, and maybe it took some time for the whatever collision he had to take effect.
That's he probably got up right about there. They huddled about right where he made the tackle. And as you said, the cobweb probably didn't get cleared from the punt coverage.
I'm not sure they're clear yet.
It looked like when he made the tackle, I think he got hit right under the chin when he made the tackle on that punt return.
Well, let's go back and look, John, and see if what caused that late collapse.
But he's right on the bottom right here, number 23. See him coming in. He got hit. Oh, he got blocked right there. Yeah, he got knocked right out of the frame in that one. He got an elbow up under the chin is what it is.
That's a tough hit when you get knocked out of the frame.
Yeah, and the only thing left in the frame is the bottom of your shoes.
And the cobwebs. 1st and 10. Broncos at their own 37. Elway is going to go to work. Sewell was the intended receiver. He started to turn upfield before the ball was in his possession, as they say. So far, this is the way the game has gone. The Broncos scored on their first 2 possessions. Elway got 158 total yards, and George Martin got the sack on Elway in the end zone, and that made it 10-9. Broncos lead by a point with 1 minute, 1 second left to play in the first half. 2nd and 10. Elway with a lot of time and a lot of arm, and a complete pass to Steve Watson at the Giant 32 out of bounds, stops the clock.
How many quarterbacks do you think can do that?
None.
Go back, scramble to the left, throw across the field, and a complete pass like that. Watch him. Now, most quarterbacks have trouble going to the left and throwing. But going to your left and throwing back all the way across the field, that's not an arm, that's a gun. You ought to have a permit to carry that thing.
That's how Joe Montana got hurt. Moving left and throwing right.
Just got to remember we did the Dallas game, and he hit that thing throwing right that pass 50 yards in the air? I think that was the greatest pass I've ever seen.
Off the wrong foot. Oh, that's got to Will Height. Will Height to the Giant 20. A pickup of 11 off the shovel pass. That should be enough and is enough for a Bronco first down.
That's a play you don't see much, that shovel passes. Remember, Jack Curtis used to do this years ago with Lee Grosscup at the University of Utah. You just go back like you're going to pass, and boom, just underhand it, shovel it out there to Gerald Wilhite. You get a first down.
Wilhite got some of the turf jammed in his face mask.
Well, that's a good thing about grass. I mean, that's just plain old grass and mud. So you can pick that stuff out of there. If you get artificial turf, it doesn't come off and up into your head thing, and you can't pull the stuff out. See here, they can just take in, pull that mud and dirt and grass, and then just wash it off, and you get a little mud going on the face.
Well, Elway over with Reeves, and Kubiak is number 8. Gary Kubiak is backup quarterback, who, as a rule, signals in the plays.
You know, Elway, because he's blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and wears number 7, he doesn't look as big as he is. I mean, if he had like a 75 on there, you'd say he's a big guy. This guy is a big guy. I mean, he got big hands, he got big arms, he got big legs. I mean, he's a big, strong guy. He's not a little skinny quarterback.
Plus, he walks like a sprinter. He's quicker than people think he is.
Yeah, those toes point inward.
Don't forget, coming up at the half today, the 100th anniversary of Hollywood. Herb and Will locker room reports. Brent Musburger and Dan Deerdorf analyzing the first half. Here's Elway. As a man at the 15. Steve Sewell, gain of 6.
Oh, they're saying no.
Incomplete.
I think that means no. I think when the official goes like that, it means no.
It does.
I don't, you know, that pass only went. That pass only went about 5 yards, didn't it? So he probably doesn't care with the incomplete there.
I know one thing, it doesn't take long to get there with that arm.
I'll tell you, they talk about the Elway cross. He throws the ball so hard that he implants the cross of the nose of the football right in your chest. Steve Watson was saying that. You see, here's the ball. See, here's the tip of the ball. You see right here? This right here forms a cross. Well, when Elway gets so much spin on the ball going like this and so much velocity, well, this cross just gets implanted right in your chest. And guys walk around with a lot of crosses all over them.
There are enough ways to get hurt in this game without getting hurt by the ball.
Yeah, well, they got dances, stomps, and stuff. And one of the things there's the Elway cross.
The call stands.
They reviewed it again. Second down. Incomplete. Dan Reeves with the orange Bronco tie on.
Done a heck of a job with these Broncos. Tom Landry ought to be proud of his ex-coaches. In the last couple Super Bowls, he's had 3 out of 4.
Flag. Elway out of the pocket. Pass out of the end zone, but the penalty marker back. Somebody on the Giant defense jumped. Vance Johnson was the intended receiver, or at least he was the Bronco closest to the ball against the Giants.
That'll be 5 yards, and we'll see the jump right there in the middle. Jim Burt was the first guy that
Number
jumped.
64, defense, second down.
It is against Burt.
He shouldn't be jumping. He didn't go that far. The only time you should jump is if you're going to go a long way. You're going to hang around the line of scrimmage. Don't jump to do it. Whew.
28 seconds remaining in the first half. The score, Denver 10, the Giants 9. Elway looking over the Giant defense. Wilhite, I think, was the intended receiver. The ball whistled by him so fast, he didn't even see it.
I'll tell you, with that ear hole, though, on your helmet, you can probably feel it. You don't see it go, boom, right by you. You just hear that Swish goes right in the ear hole. I tell you, this is a big down here, this third down. If they don't get it in here, they're going to have to let Rich Carlos try another field goal.
3rd and 5, the ball at the Giants 16. Jackson split wide to the left. Watson to the right. Look out for him. Incomplete to Mobley, who hits the goalpost. I'm not sure who's bigger.
The goalpost is still shaking. Look at those poles are still shaking.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, when you bring a 270-pound load into a post, that post doesn't stop. And now Carlos has to kick into the shaky post. Good coverage. Double team coverage. Mobley's going to go into the post. Gets kind of a spinner on it. Now Carlos has to kick into it, still shaking.
To a shaky post. Some kickers are shaky anyway. From 34 yards out, Carlos. No good again.
Bill Parcells nods. He said, that's the second one. He said, you need some breaks like that. And I think as well as Denver has played in the first half, for the Giants only to be down by 1, I think that's an advantage Giants.
Just looking over on the sideline behind Dan Reeves, Tom Jackson was up, walking and looked reasonably healthy, so he might be back.
That Bronco offense has done everything they've had to except get the ball in the end zone on 2 drives. And then they just get the ball out here. Elvis Patterson provided the pressure from the outside.
So they'll let it run down in the first half of Super Bowl 21. And I'll go back and talk it over. That's the end of the first half with the score. Denver 10, the Giants 9.
CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl 21 is sponsored by McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. Seiko. Man invented time. Seiko perfected it. And by GTE, the telecommunications consultant to Super Bowl 21.
Whether it's a simple office phone or a large custom-tailored telecommunications system, whether it's voice only or voice and data, digital switching, transmission equipment, tie lines, Watts lines, multiple long-distance hookups, there's one company that can do it all. No, GTE.
Why sit in the doldrums when you can ride the crest?
The Atlantic difference.
Get the Atlantic difference. 8% on your money market, guaranteed for 2 months. Call 1-800-4-ATLANTIC and make more money with Atlantic's money market. 8% guaranteed for 2 months. Visit a branch or call Atlantic for an 8% money market. Atlantic Financial.
Next Sunday's cure for post-Super Bowl blues starts when 60 Minutes tackles the issues of the day. Then on Murder, She Wrote, a killer with a lethal playbook puts Jessica on the defensive.
You can't kill me the way you killed the others.
And with a front line like this, it's a whole new ball game. The return of designing women at a new day and time. Then, whether out in the field or in a huddle, it's no holds barred.
You either print that story or I'll take it to a paper that will. It's a great story.
Hard copy delivers. Don't miss the action next Sunday.
From directly above the Rose Bowl, we are at halftime of Super Bowl 21 with the Denver Broncos leading the New York Giants by a point, 10-9. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger along with Dan Deerdorf, and certainly Bronco fans have to feel that they should have 6 more points, 2 more Rich Carlos field goals. He had kicked 10 in a row. 85. The season before, Carlos had an off year. He missed some very big extra points for them. And here this afternoon in this Super Bowl game, now he has missed 2 field goals. Dan, I want to change the topic to instant replay because suddenly I'm having doubts about the whole process because of the inability sometimes to bring back the correct angle, and suddenly the television networks are finding themselves right in the midst of making very important decisions.
And of course, it happened in the first half on the pass to Clarence Kay, which is ruled an incomplete pass. The replay decision comes down after a couple minutes that it stands, but then later, as you say, we bring up a replay that shows it's a good catch.
Let's take a look at that replay right now, Dan, because it took a little while for them to find the reverse angle. And it was John Elway delivering the ball here to Kay. And from that angle, it appeared that Clarence had reached down, grabbed the ball, and made a rolling catch with the ball. And again, it doesn't make any difference that it's CBS. I think everybody should forget that for a moment. I think it's any network's involvement in this process of determining the outcome of very important games.
Well, we're using 11 instant replay machines, which means that you're putting so much pressure on these guys in the truck to find which one of those 11 machines had that one particular angle. And you're right, it's a pressure that I don't think we particularly want, but at least the system didn't overturn a call. I mean, without the instant replay system, that's the same call we would have had anyway.
Dan, we had, I guess, a touch of deja vu regarding George Martin. Let me take everybody back to November. These two teams played in the Meadowlands. It was 6-3. The Broncos were ahead, and John Elway was driving for a touchdown. This is one of the most memorable plays of the year. Elway will throw the ball out to the right. They cannot get Martin off his feet. Watch the great catch that this former basketball player from Oregon makes, and then he takes off on a touchdown jaunt that put the Giants in front prior to the half of that game. New York went on to win it by 3 points. And then here in the first half of this Super Bowl game, we have seen Elway under enormous pressure, and Dan, wouldn't you know it, it's Martin again.
It's still, well, how many points has George Martin scored for the New York Giants? I mean, he scored more touchdowns than any defensive lineman in the game, came up with the big play there, and keep in mind that that sack and safety on John Elway was the play immediately following the ruled incompletion to Clarence Kay. So if you're a Denver Bronco fan, you have to say if that could have possibly been ruled a complete catch, it's a different ballgame right now.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. See you a little bit later. We're going to be back now with the Super Bowl halftime extravaganza presented by the NFL and GTE right after these messages from your local stations.
This is CBS.
People are disappointed with the traction they're getting from their present car, which is why more and more of them are looking into the #1 four-wheel drive car in America at their Subaru dealer.
Test drive a new Subaru today at Bill Cruz Subaru.
This instrument worth listening to is the tone you can depend on every second of every day. Brought to you by the people at C&B. We put value on the line.
Donate on Media Donor Day at the Wheeling Civic Center this Thursday.
Well, we are back at the Rose Bowl here at halftime of Super Bowl 21. Perhaps the best first quarter that's ever been played in the history of the Super Bowl so far. Then it settled down in the second quarter, and it was not nearly the kind of offensive show that we had. Let's bring Dan Dierdorf back in here to talk a little about the defense, because I think, Dan, really, in the final analysis, it was that Giant defense at goal line stand that turned it around.
Yeah, you looked at Denver having the ball inside the 5-yard line, automatic points, really in a position to score a touchdown. Then it's the big play. They take the sweep, and they don't make anything, and that's immediately followed by Carlos missing on the chip shot. So Giants defensively, while, you know, a shaky start, they've really asserted themselves and taken control.
Dan, it is very tough for a team mentally to have a field goal kicker miss 2 big ones like that in a game like this. They're going to have to try to boost his confidence, not get down on him, and at the same token, go back out there in the second half and continue.
Yeah, it's really not as bad where you might think that you sit in the locker room and stare daggers at the guy and wish bad things for him. It's not that bad, but it is a situation where now you're wondering if you're down, if you're one of the offensive team guys and you're down inside that 25-yard line and you look to that sideline waiting for the kicker to come in, to yourself you're saying, let's go for the first down because I don't want to get caught short again, which they've been caught a couple times.
Exactly. Well, one of the things that a lot of folks look forward to is the halftime show. And right now, we have a Walt Disney celebration about ready to start down here on the floor of the Rose Bowl in Pasadena.
Super Bowl 21 and Disneyland salute the 100th anniversary of Hollywood, the land of make-believe.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. George Burns.
Thank you, Snow White. Pretty girl. A little too old for me. Well, Hollywood is now 100 years old. It's only 9 years older than I am. Maybe when I'm 100, they'll put my name up there. If they don't, I'm moving to Burbank. Okay, now, on with the show.
Let the trumpets call. Where the people shout. Hooray for Hollywood. Hooray for Hollywood. Hollywood. Strike even better than a Sunday football game.
Better than the Super